Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement? And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sulaiman Rahim here, Master of the Covenant, Breaker 7 Seals. Okay, it's the third part of this series I've been speaking about the last couple of days. So hopefully we can get through it today. It's advanced, but it gives you the whole picture as far as the Levite's situation is. So hopefully you understand, my brothers and sisters, is mathematics. And I warn people, don't play with this. It's mathematics. Mathematics is right and exact. Now the mathematics of the devil, you got a lot of theories. We don't have theories. Right? But even so, they still have mathematics, more mathematics than most of us have, even though we had the ability to be much more than them. So I'm going to attempt to give you the full picture as far as our nation is concerned, as far as Abraham's seed is concerned. Because we see the different aspects of it, and I've told you a couple of aspects. I told you about the demons, right? I talked about the chaff and the wheat. But I didn't go into a lot of detail about it, but I'm going to try to see if I can get you to understand this. The thing is that if you don't, now on the mathematical level, you're not going to get it right now. Most of you, if not all of you, are still in emotional plane. And that's why it says, there's many things I could tell you, but you can barely hear them. Because it just sounds so, well, it depends on, but if you're hearing it, it may sound very cold, harsh. I mean, when I first heard some of the things, I said, wait a minute, what is this? Taking baby's feet, baby Nat's head against the wall, right? And stuff like that. I said, what are they talking about here? Because I didn't know anything about devils then, even though I did have had natural dislike of devils. Well, not devils, but I didn't call them devils then, right? I knew something was up about that. Right? About white folks. Right? And when I was in Vietnam, I remember, I was into it, but like I said, I was ignorant. And to me, he wasn't black unless you had nappy hair. And when I saw black folks coming around in nappy hair, I was suspicious of them, right? And we used to hang out at this place called Plantation Alley. That was when I was stationed in Saigon. Tonsanute was outside Saigon, my second tour. And I was getting radical. Well, I don't have been radical, but I was really getting radical, right? Because I started learning about what's happening in the States, because when I left, there wasn't any riots, no civil rights movement, none of that stuff going on. I didn't know about Malcolm X, Nation of Islam, none of that stuff. The only thing I have two things in the face with it. My father took me to a temple. I didn't know what he was talking about, what he was doing when I went there. I remember the brother saying one Armageddon would take place in the 70s. I remember saying that. And this, my father took me in there, I think it was like 62, a year or two before he passed. He passed on 63. And I remember going in there, and being searched and all that kind of stuff, right? I remember this young brother saying that Walmart Armageddon was going to be in 1970. That's all I remember. I didn't know what that was about. And we actually lived literally one block away from it. Because I used to go and shine shoes and stuff. My father made me work all the time, right? So with a little money, I had pay the money to get home to him. And he'd give me a little piece of it, and I'd go and play pinball machines. It was right across the street from where the temple was. And I used to see the brothers every now and then, right? Walking around with suits and stuff. I didn't know it, make anything of it. I didn't know what that was. And it turns out he was processing, but I didn't know it. And he passed me for, when I started processing, when I came out of Vietnam, I said, he doing the same stuff your father was doing. So then that's how I found he, I don't know how far he got, whether he got his X or not, I don't know. And then the other contact was with there was this brother, his name was, they call him Bulldog, and it was Hal Herring. And he's supposed to be a tough dude, right? Anyway, like I said, I lived in Newark, and when my father passed, I stayed with my aunt, and we moved right on the corner where everybody hung out, around the corner. Johnson and Watson, right on that corner right there, that's where everybody hung out at. It's a little store right across the street and everything, later on it's a pool wall up the street. And so I was right in the middle, and they used to have little game meets, some condor games right in the basement down there. And I remember Harold told me he was a outlaw Muslim. Sound cool though, man. I'm an outlaw Muslim. And I remember one time he was going to take us over to some place where this outlaw Muslim hung out there, right? And we was all going, we was walking, and everybody walked those days, right? I'm not sure from at this point how long. They didn't build a highway over there and everything else. That community's gone. I don't know how far it was. We never got there because we hit all the brothers, right? Because we all hung out, right? We was going, I followed her, hang over towards this place. I didn't know what it was till later on, right? And we got about, I don't know how far we got. Then something went down. Somebody pulled a fire alarm or something. Everybody started running. The cops came in, and actually they caught me. And he had this like ultra thing and put on your hand, right? And because like if you pull a fire alarm, put something on your hand, right, that you can only see with this light. Dude next to me, man, he had a lot on his hand. That little spot, they didn't notice it. Nah, I'm glad they didn't notice because they was. Anyway, that's the only contact I ever had with that. I had no idea what that stuff was all about, right? But like I said, if I had stayed here, I probably would have been dead because I don't know, because I was really militant. And that kind of stuff would have played with me, right? I mean, you know, in jail or whatever, right? So like I was in Vietnam, right? And we used to hang out there on plantation. That's where the brothers would hang and after work, right? And it was like a place, a strip, had a lot of clubs and stuff, right? And everybody was getting high, right? And he had these sisters there, and these sisters, they was Vietnamese, but their fathers. When the French was controlled that, and their fathers was the Africans that was in the French army, right? And so they was over there, and they had children, and they had their children behind. These sisters, their fathers had been Africans, and they was cool, but the Vietnamese didn't like them, so they hung there, and a lot of them they turned to prostitutes stuff because they could no way they could live in nothing. I felt kind of bad about them, but I didn't use them. I used to hang out with them, talk to them, and you know, and I took pictures. I lost all pictures and stuff, right? But they was sisters, and they was fine sisters too. Man, I mean, sisters black. I don't care what. A black woman, boy, she's fine no matter where you found. If you found Mars, I know she's fine there. And I was, you know, and I was militant, like I said, but I was. They thought I was crazy. Man, if you black, you have nappy hair, man. I said that had to me that's how I knew. Right, if you didn't have nappy hair, you wasn't. I ain't know about original, that kind of stuff, right? Just black. Anyway, that's no little side story. But I'm gonna talk about this treachery and stuff, right? I'm not gonna talk about it right now. So I'm gonna get into it a little more scientific, because you get math here now. If my math is wrong, then show me, because you ain't getting any math from these other people. Islam is mathematics. If you believe that, like Mama said, Islam is mathematics. Mathematics is Islam. Muhammad gave a whole mathematical thing that they don't understand, right? If you believe that, then The students should be taught mathematics. They don't talk mathematics. Go there. You know mathematics in there. The student has none whatsoever. None. Zero. None with Farrakhan either. But they come try to wax with, oh, I know electricity. They don't even know what that is. And they twist everything, get everything wrong. And they say stupid shit like, Wesley talking about, well, the sun is the reason why we are sitting. Well, if that's the case, then we should be going back to Africa, right? If that's the problem. It's ignorance over there. So I put the math out there. And so no one's yet has come and challenged the math. Yet they would like me to shut up. They haven't challenged the math. They haven't took advantage of that $1,000 I said I would get anybody to prove that he's really representing Elijah Muhammad and Master Muhammad. So that tells all right there. And now the shadow banned me. They've been doing that for a while anyway. So they try to make it look like nobody's paying attention to everything else. Somebody's paying attention. Because nobody's paying attention. Because if you what I talk about during the week and don't listen to no why, there's always a response. Why is it? Damn, it's a response. It can't be no coincidence. Every response every week. That's something you said. Anyway, let's move on, brothers and sisters, because I want to explain another thing too, right? But let me talk this first. This little trick. Now I keep mentioning it because I tell you, I don't like anything over there, but this is like really pathetic. See, because that shows he's lying. So if you got any sense, you recognize it. He's trying to make Elijah Muhammad as a dummy, because Elijah Muhammad's no dummy. He's a bad, tough, hard black man. He stood up. Not like Farrakhan. He stood up to these devils by himself for some years. The man, I don't believe in miracles, but if there was such thing as a miracle, he performed it. Right? Miracles are just math you don't understand. That's all miracles are. No such things. Miracles outside of math can't be a miracle. In other words, math. You can't say Islam is mathematics. Mathematics, because everything is Islam is the entire universe. Okay. So what he's saying is that you have ventriloquist here, right? And he had a dummy moving his mouth, but it's actually the words from the ventriloquist. He's actually just saying what the ventriloquist is saying. But his ventriloquist is be able to move his mouth, but he keep his mouth quiet. So it makes you think that the dummy's talking. And like I said, Elijah Muhammad's not a dummy. So the trick here is he got the dummy saying this stuff. We ain't going nowhere, and devils ain't devils. See, and everybody, hey, that right? But the trick here is he ain't saying Elijah Muhammad's a dummy. He's saying Elijah Muhammad's his teacher. So he's saying what Elijah Muhammad said. But what he put in Elijah Muhammad's mouth is what he's saying. So now he's telling you, oh, I'm just saying what Elijah Muhammad said, but those are his words himself, if you understand the trick here. See? The reason why it's limited on this because there's so much information out there what Elijah Muhammad did say, and all they got to do is come in a debate and compare what he claiming and what Elijah Muhammad said, we going home, and he said we ain't. See? So that's the problem. If they can get rid of that, oh boy, they would go AI with this. They wouldn't even have it like this. They'd have Elijah Muhammad actually talking and saying this stuff, and you would think it was real, because that's how far they've gone with AI. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. I have a problem with my voice here. Commentary, apocalypse, born heaven. Okay, I'm kind of like. But first, I want to mention this: quiet for the storm. This war is not over. They're telling you it's not over. It's not. And the thing is, it's not even a ceasefire. It's just a pause. It's like when you go in a fight. After every ring, they have every what they call it, a ring, a third what do you call it, third ring or third round? Yeah, third round, right? So after each round, they have a pause, and then at the pause, that's what took a minute to get back at it again, right? So this ain't. I'm just telling you, this is it, and I'm telling you, this war will continue all the way up to December. Okay? I don't know the particulars as far as the timing, but I know the particulars about what's going to happen during it. Okay? And they're going to be back to fighting, and when they go back to fighting, right, it's not going to be it's like the pause never happened, because the pressure is building up. So they go back, it's like you punch somebody in the face, every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, right? And with 10 pounds of force, with 20 pounds of force every minute, 10 pounds of force, right? So you 10 minutes, that's 100 pounds of force you hit that person with. So you take a break for 5 minutes, right? Well, when you go back, you done build up that's 50 pounds. Add to at 50 pounds, you're gonna hit them with, because the step kept building up. It's just you just didn't do anything for 5 minutes, but just build it up. So in other words, it gets worse when all you did was you didn't stop it, you just paused it, and so for 5 minutes you waited, right? So when that 5 minutes over, then you hit 50 pounds. See? If you understand that, you'll see in a minute. And Warren Heaven, chapter 12, it talks about it. That's where right now. Right now, all things I've been talking about, if you understand chapter 12, I'm not going into details, brothers and sisters, but the next things right now is when the pour's over. The pour's over, right? America's already involved. Right? America's already involved. So now they're going to be totally involved when it resumes. Okay, now what I want to talk about is this. See, you don't appreciate the math of this. And math is serious. This whole the description, everything, that's all math. And then I tell you how things should be, they tell you how things are. And where we have the power to manage energy, not to control the amount of it, to manage it. And that's within limits, because only you can imagine which if somebody give you some clay, then you're going to imagine up to the amount of how much clay you got, right? So you get so much energy per day, and you can manage that. You can't manage energy that you haven't gotten yet. Manage already passed. Imagine what you're getting. So, look aside, a little segue here. You know, people I said everything. People don't appreciate that. Everything requires energy. To bat your eyes require energy. To listen to this requires energy. Sit down and sleep. Everything requires energy. Because energy is everything. The whole universe is energy, and the language of energy is mathematics. The language of energy is mathematics. The energy that's the universe it's just energy, period. So take, for instance, like, you see, everything counts. That's criteria, even if atoms weight. But if someone goes and say this person, they go and they make a lot. Say for instance, they sacrifice. They make a big sacrifice. Say somebody in their family, right? They take the charge, right? Let me make a slight move here, bro. I think I have a lighting problem. Let me see if this works better. Oh man. Oh boy, I had to do that. Hold on. Okay, I think that's better. Oh boy. Make a camera adjustment, brothers and sisters. Give me a minute here. Okay, I think this. A little better. Maybe is it? No. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Okay, that's better. Okay, yeah, that's better. Okay, what I was saying is like, say for instance, your family member got in trouble, right? Say it's your son or something, right? Well, just say, let me see a better analogy. Okay, say for instance, you're in the military, okay? And you go out there and you get wounded because you saved a bunch of people's lives and stuff. I mean, you really took some wounds and stuff, and you went 2 or 3 years in that battle and sacrifice, and you went through a lot. I mean, you got a couple of medals and carrying on. All these sacrifices. So what happens is that you come home, and so this clown he comes and say, "Hey man, I'm the one that did all that stuff, man. I'm the one that did the medals. I did all that." You see. So in other words, he's saying, that was me. He's going to take credit for what you did. That maybe not a good analogy, but you get the point. So he's taking credit for what you did, right? Okay, so now he's getting all these accolades and all this stuff that you would have been getting, he's getting, right? So he's getting stuff, in other words, he's getting stuff that don't belong to him. That belongs to you. You made the sacrifices. But he's getting them. So it's the same thing as taking some money that don't belong to you. So now you build negative energy for yourself. See? You build negative energy for yourself, and you're going to pay a consequence for that. You pretend to be somebody you're not. And the greater sacrifice they made, right, that you didn't credit for, the greater your penalty is going to be. You understand? Now, I'm explaining why I'm saying that, if you understand it. Okay. So you take, now here's they talking about the Son of Man here. So let me just read this. Who has believed our report? To whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? For he has grown up before him as a tender plant and as a root out of dry ground. See, a root out of dry ground means there's no support or nothing. You're just by yourself. See, if you ground, man, you got family, you got friends, you got all the support. You by yourself. It's nothing. You have nothing. And a root out of dry. This is talking about the Son of Man here, right? And as root out of dry ground, he has no form, no comeliness. I mean, he wasn't born looking like Farrakhan. He looks so cute, handsome, right? No, he's just a normal looking person, nothing special, right? No form, no comeliness, and we shall see him. There's no beauty that we should desire him. Is that talking about Farrakhan? Oh man, look, Ishmael. I think he's in love with him or something. Look how handsome he is. He said he wouldn't be like that. Just be a normal looking person. Maybe not even that, right? He wouldn't be on any of that, right? Mm-hmm. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. See? So he's going through. Man, this ain't Master Muhammad. He ain't got no sorrows and grief, right? He despised. People despise him. They don't despise Farrakhan. They despise him. Rejects of men. They reject. They don't hear what he got to say. And sorrows, acquainted with grief. He hid, and we hid as we're fated. They hide their face from him. Look at me cursing and carrying on. Me, they hide their face from him. He was despised and esteemed, and we esteemed him not. We didn't pay attention to him. Son of Man he's talking about here. Okay, let's move on. I got a couple more pages here. surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. See, now he's doing this for someone else. See? He's carrying their grief and their sorrows. Because he's trying to, it's like a comatose man, right? You live brain, you're trying to move that body, but you suffering, the brain's the one that's suffering, trying to get that body to move. Yet we did esteem him stricken and smitten of God. We thought the man was crazy. Smitten, look at him, cursing and carrying on, and smitten of God, married all these times and everything else, right? Afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. In other words, he's wounded because he was trying to get you straight. That's the price, right? He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. Right? Chastise your peace. You understand what I mean? Trying to bring you back home, right? See? And with his stripes we're healed. In other words, his suffering, the more he suffered, that's what it took to heal you. His suffering. All we like sheep have gone astray, and we've turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord hath laid on him iniquity of us all. See? What are they talking about? Nation of Islam just fell apart, just went away. They were supposed to be there for him, but there's Elijah prepared way for him, and they just went astray. Maybe you might accept my interpretation, but anyway, he was oppressed and afflicted, yet he opened his mouth, not his mouth. Okay? I'm not going through all that kind of. But anyway, and he was brought as a lamb to the slaughter. He get a little hit there, slaughter. And sheep before his shears is dumb. So he opened not his mouth. He ain't complaining. Right? I told you. As far as I'm concerned, like I said, I ain't asked you a job. I ain't complaining about it, but anybody want it, you can have it. He was taken from prison and from judgment. Farrakhan ain't never been no prison. When Farrakhan been in prison? And judgment and put on trial. When does that happen to Farrakhan? When they talk about this thing about Jonah, they don't know that happened already. It happened to somebody they know. That thing, Jonah, and the facts are there. You can easily check. You can check it out and find out if that actually happened. All you got to do is go back and check the place where it's supposed to happen at, and the documentation is there. And who shall declare his generation? For his called off out of the land of the living, for transgress my people was he stricken. See? Otherwise his people don't even bother with him. See? So he's all alone. So he said he walked alone. And he made his grave, he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich, and he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death. Right? What do you mean he made his grave with the wicked and with rich in his death? What does that mean? Because he had done no violence. He didn't do any violence to anybody. Neither was there any deceit in his mouth. He wasn't lying to anybody like Farrakhan doesn't lie. He was trying to tell you the truth. See? Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him and to put him to grief. Wait a minute, whoa. It pleased, God wanted him bruised and in grief. I'm going to explain that in a minute. When thou shalt make his soul ought for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper his hand. So he's going to be successful. He's going to get his people home. He's going to prosper. Right? He shall see the travail of his soul. That means this whole thing was a travail. It was hell, this job. And shall be satisfied. Well, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. By his knowledge shall my righteous servants justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. So he's justifying our people through his knowledge. Knowledge of the angel. Right? And other knowledge. He's justifying people. See? Justify many. And shall bear their iniquities. In other words, all the bullshit he got to deal with that. But he's going to bear it. And he's going to walk away from it. He's going to bear it. He's going to bear the iniquities. All that bullshit he's going to stick with it. Even though he got put up with all that, right? Therefore, I will divide him a portion with the great. He shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he has poured out his soul into death. He just kept on putting information out there. He just kept doing it. Poured out his soul, gave it all, just kept on giving it. All, he just gave it out. 100%, that's what he's saying. Just pour it out. And with all this bullshit he was putting up with and everything else, and said that God even put him to grief. But he kept on doing it. Right? Poured out his soul. Because he had poured out his soul to death. He was numbered with the transgressors. But they say, man, he's a transgressor. He ain't with the mud, he ain't with the Sunnis. He ain't talking about praying. All this stuff, right? And he bore the sin of many and made transgression for the transgressors. Made intercession for the transgressors. He's saying, right? Man, I ain't blaming these sisters for what they're going through. They may be transgressors, but I understand why they're doing it. See, that's what it's saying here. So when you walk around talking about, so if you claim you're the Son of Man and you haven't went through this, but you're taking the credit for someone who has done all this, you see what's going to happen to you? I'm trying to get an idea what's going to happen to you? The negative energy you build over yourself? Because you got to be the idea. Hey, I'm with Elijah, and I'm the Son of Man, and all this stuff, and I'm representing. I ain't representing a damn thing. So they taking some of the credit, some parts of this credit, all of it, like so-called Son of Man. He taking all the credit. I'm the one. See, so he's stealing, and then he's getting, and then it's like Silas and them. They want money because they the ones. But they ain't the one. They're taking credit from the one who is the one. And so they got to pay the consequence for that. And it's going to be incredible. Because look at this here. This person's going through this hell. Ain't nothing about this job. That's what I say. He's going, what's the one he said? I don't know, man. Maybe so, but it says, what was that again? No, I missed that one. I must have passed it. No, they go back. Did I miss that one? Yeah. Oh, you shall see a trail of his soul and be satisfied. No, leave that one alone. I wouldn't want to go through this again forever. Ever. See? But look at this. This person, see, now, he didn't choose this. Remember, this is inflicted upon him. Because none of us has to be born. So this was a prepared. Like that's why Mom was prepared. Like Mom said, he was prepared. God, he was born. His father prepared him. So the scientists say, okay, this is what has to be done. And so all this was organized 16,000 years ago when they put all this together. And so they put it together, and this, so this, because they knew this person to do this job had to be able to devote 100% of his energy to get this done. So it had to be a person that suffered everything, no family, nothing. Because remember, it takes energy to have family. It takes energy to have these things, right? See, it takes energy for that. Energy for have a civilization. Energy. Well, you have to have energy for it. So if you had none of that stuff, right? Then this energy but it has to be focused. Because you don't have that, I could have been focusing on sports or something. So you've been a Heisman Trophy person, right? Because all this energy, he had nothing else. Put it all in that. So he had to be focused in a certain way, but that's what it takes. So this is not easy. That's why you can't play with this. And it's showing you right here what it took to get this message out. Now, anybody listening want to go through that? Anywhere near it? Just think about the Holocaust. When Dr. Shabbat's preparing us for that. You think anybody wanted that? Remember, he started preparing, what, they said 50,000 years ago, started preparing black folks for that? Just think what they had to go through. They lost their land. There was another, in their brother's land, down in, from Arabia down there, lost. Look at all the stuff you do to get to the Holocaust. You was living out in the suburbs, you wasn't living in the cities anymore. So all the things he had to do, right? And he gave you a hard life because he wanted to emphasize those stronger genes. We didn't have an easy life. Preparing you for the Holocaust. And there's some still need to make it. So I don't know if my point is across here or not, brothers and sisters, but I tell you, this is not a game. And Dr. Shabazz didn't want to do this, but he knew that's what it takes. He said, looked at the situation, said, okay, right? This is what we need to do to come out. We have to go through this, so let's see if we can make the best out of it, come out on top. Other they said, man, I ain't going through that. Well, they still went through it. Just ain't gonna come out on top because they diverted this out. Well, I'm gonna get my Heisman Trophy, man. I ain't gonna be out there and be no minister, whatever. They focused, some went to another planet. Okay. But he hit it head on. Head on. Okay. And so now what? Did you get the point? I know you didn't get it. Maybe you did. I hope you did, right? Because who's pretending to be us? Who's pretending to be us and taking the credit for what we're going through? See what's about to happen to them? See what I'm saying? All we went through now, they trying to take credit and they're getting all this stuff from everybody because they're saying they're us. They're getting blessed and we're getting cursed because they're saying they're us and they're saying we're them. So now they're getting all this help and credit and everything, the whole world on their side. Oh, they're Jews, man. And they God's chosen people, and we gotta bless them. While the real seed is being cursed, stepped on, pissed on, shit on. You see what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? Take credit. So we think what happened to them. It's happening now. And it's just going to get worse. The instruction will be awesome. Even the devil's here. Because they're saying they're spiritually Abraham now. They can take credit too. That's why it says they're going to do a strange thing to these people. Because they're benefiting from our experience. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. Okay, I'm going to get into, I'm probably won't finish the whole thing today, brothers and sisters, because, like I said, I started talking and then I got a lot to cover here. I knew it'd be 3 or 4 hours I'll do it also. I'm going to get as much as I can, but I'm going to cover what I said yesterday, give you a full picture. Now, the Quran here talks about a mother shall suckle their children for 2 whole years. Oh, I know I forgot something. Okay, I no time. For 2 whole years, for him who desires to complete the time of suckling and the maintenance of clothing must. They say should, must be born by the father according to usage. Now, I explained to you, right, that you got to put these things together. Because if you don't believe one body, then this don't mean anything to you. If you don't believe one body, we are literally one body. This ain't just saying that. We got foot cells. The thing is that, well, it's hard to say this because You got the demons and you got us. But demons have butt cells and so are we. Right? And so how butt those things? Well, if you're in trouble, right, let's sit in. Foot cell, let's march. Me man march. Because that's the way they're gonna think, because that's but a brain cell gonna say, man, let's do for self. Let's get some knowledge, like Elijah Muhammad was saying. So you had the brain cell, right, trying to get the foot cell in line and get the butt cell in line. Because the butt cell, they're out of control. And so there's angel, that's tribulation, is you got to get all those cells in line. That's what Hodge is all about. You got to get all those cells in line. You got to get that body turning from Frankenstein. That's part of tribulation. You got to clean it up. I'm talking about it in a minute. But you also got to come out, right? How the Quran says, 74 men or something like that. Right? I can't remember how they say it, right? You got to come out, right? Price structure, right? The angel mind, they're leading it. Foot cells, right? Transportation, right? Butt cells clean up the waste or whatever. Right? And everybody loves, and whatever your cell is, that's what you love doing. Right? And so that, and that's part of tribulation. You got to put that, get up, because the body right now is like Frankenstein. Right? Got the butt cells trying to tell the body what to do. It's not run by the brain. And democracy itself, if you think about democracy, it's a Frankenstein system. Because democracy, that's why you guys are confusion, partly, because democracy is not about doing the right thing. It's about doing what the people want. That means the brain has to do what the body wants. And you know how far you're going to get with that. If you submit to your body, right, you're going to have diabetes, you're going to be overweight and everything else. Because your body is going to, it wants to satisfy what it wants. And so the brain, now you locked into a body, right, that's all messed up. But you got to show discipline. That comes from the brain. So no, you can't do that. Because the body says, well, I want to eat all the time. Yeah, but it may feel good about it, but then it suffers too, because the tongue going to suffer when the whole body suffers, the tongue going to suffer too. The mouth going to suffer, everybody going to suffer. It wants to do its own thing, but doesn't realize it's affecting everybody. And so throws everybody else off. So throws the pancreas off, it throws a digestive. So now everybody's suffering because that one, you let that thing do what it wanted to do. Let everybody do their thing. See, democracy is a Satan system. It's a system based on emotions, which keep you down here in this emotional plane. The two-dimensional plane is the emotional plane. I told you, that's how I explained it to you. As I explained it, capitalism, all that stuff is the kind of system that you would have during energy deprivation, which is a two-dimensional plane. But here, so I'm just using a simple thing right here, right? The lung gives oxygen to the heart. Heart gives blood back to the lungs. So it's a good relationship there. And that's the way it works. If you interrupt that, both will die. Right? If the lungs don't get oxygen, the heart going to stop. That means the lungs going to die too. If it doesn't get the lungs blood, right? Okay, but what if you do this? And I'm thinking about it, not today, but just going to, I don't know if I need to really do it or not, but just going to this money issue really in a real strong way. I'm not sure I need to do that. But I'm saying, see, money is a trick. And I maybe could explain a lot better than I have, but I got so much things. We're in this war right now, brothers and sisters, right now. There's so many things to talk about, so I don't think that's a major thing, but it's just going to be a moot point in a minute, the money. But give you an example of what money does for you. Okay, remember consequence, it just deals with balance. It deals with balance. So if the amount of lungs, amount of air, the oxygen that the lungs get to the brain is where, like, say, at the rate of $10 a minute flow, $10 a minute, right? So that's something. That's what it would cost. Going from oxygen from the lungs to the heart, $10 per minute, right? Okay, and then going back to convert that to blood, $10 per minute going back the other way, right? If you put a price on it. So say the heart said, okay, well, instead of giving you blood, I'm just give you $10 per minute, actually $10. Well, as far as consequence concerned, that is equal. That's worth $10. The oxygen worth $10 per minute, and you give them $10 per minute in cash money. But what can the lungs do with that? Can't do anything with that. As far as consequence concerned, everything's cool. The balance is there. Just getting the quality stuff. I keep telling you, quality, quality, quality. See, that's our realm. Consequence. Every action has an opposite equal reaction. That's God's realm. I mean, well, that's why I'm gonna say it that way, because then you think of Thomas mystery God or something. That's the natural realm of the universe. Our realm, as gods, is on the quality side. See? Because the universe, I mean, it's just energy out there. We give it quality. We gave the stars and planets, all that kind of stuff. That's what I say, make an owner. We didn't create the universe. We didn't create the planet Earth. Let's make an owner. Cream of the planet Earth, God universe. Make an owner. Because the energy is already there. We gave quality to it. That's why it says maker, not creator. So you can't do anything with that. And see, if you understand that, you understand what my money is a trick. And maybe if I had time, I would go into more explanation of it, but you see what I'm saying? So that's fair, but it's no good. That's what I try to tell you. $1 million gold mine is equal to a $1 million shit farm. Both of them worth $1 million as far as consequence concerned. But if someone says you got $1 million, the only thing you can buy is a shit farm. You see what I'm saying? They control your quality. So now you got $1 million shit farm, but you got to smell shit, shovel shit all the time. But you're just as wealthy as the person that got $1 million gold mine. You're as wealthy as they are. And that's one of the things the devil's doing to us. And so maybe I don't know, because I wanted to put a whole thing together, how electricity, all these little tricks they use, money, electricity, all that kind of stuff. I don't think I'm going to have time to do it, brothers and sisters. No, maybe I'd bring up some old, and play them over again. But I never really went to money like right? But I'm just showing, that's a simple example right there. Okay? So you go out, let me go to the next stage here. Maybe I have something to show it. Okay, zakat. That's not balance. Right? Like I said, right now, because of energy deprivation, we walking a tightrope and got to keep it in balance. And that's why we need to understand how energy management, otherwise we're going to fall off. And we're falling off all the time. We have accidents. Accidents just mathematics you understand. Falling off, we have problems, we're losing stuff. Accidents, calamities, all that kind of stuff, because we don't know how to balance the energy. I told this a long time ago, I said it's like a person walking a tightrope. If you don't balance it, you're going to have problems in your life. Because negative energy, positive energy, you don't, and you don't realize you're doing this. Because you don't know the mathematics, so you're doing stuff that might cause you problems. That's why the Quran says gambling is some good, but is evil is worse. Okay, you go out and play live, you think it's nothing. But say you win. Say you win $1 million. You ain't win anything. That's one of their tricks again with money. Because you get $1 million, but if you understand energy, you can say, so you get $1,000 worth of energy every day. That's what you get. And that's what you got to, so it tells how much energy it takes to maintain yourself. And what's left is what you can do to other things, and you can maybe make friends, or if you got enough energy for that, or whatever, right? But if you take $1,000 a day to maintain yourself, then you have money for nothing. If you take $1,000 a day, but take $1,200, then hell, now you're in trouble, because now you're unhealthy. You just got enough to keep alive. But if you only take $500, you got $500 extra, you can do things with. It's just that simple if you understand it. So you go out and you get $1 million. Oh man, I got $1 million. No, you got $1 million with negative energy. You had a number of problems with it. Remember that guy called his name was Shakespeare, I think he had braids? He won that big lottery about 5 or 10 years, about 10 years ago, I guess it was, won that big lottery. Next thing you know, he had some white friends. I think he ended up with a white girlfriend. And he'll find them buried in her backyard in some concrete. They took his money. And I know you don't understand that, so you got to play those lotteries. That's why the Quran says it's some good in it if you know how to manage it. But it says evil's worse than the good. Because most people, if you're doing it, you probably don't know how to manage your money anyway. Right? So anyway. Okay, I didn't get to. Let me get back to my point here before I do that. Okay, well, I talked about it. Well, let me talk about it now, right? Okay. I got it in here, but I don't know if, I'm going to mention a little bit and I'll talk about it later. Okay. Say, for instance, because we're all still slaves. But you don't know you're a slave. Because even Harriet Tubman, when they was back in the fields, she said they didn't even realize they were slaves there, because then she could have freed more people if they knew they were slaves. They didn't know they're slaves. Listen, you don't know you're a slave right now. You're still a slave, because they're controlling your energy. They're controlling your energy. You're not controlling it. They manage your energy for you. Right? And capitalism itself is slavery by definition. Maximum profit and minimum overhead. I mean, if they can get you work for nothing, that's maximum profit. So in slavery, they got us work for nothing. They gave just enough to keep us alive. And that's literally just enough to keep us alive. You had no fireplaces, no cabin homes, you had none of that stuff. That's all bullshit. Now, I'm going to show you later on that. Maybe I can get to it. Right? So you go out here, because before we came here, you didn't work for anybody. You didn't have a job before you came here. Most of us living in the suburbs. That's what we want to call it. They call it tribes out in the jungle. No, we had cities. Major cities. Cairo, Timbuktu, major universities, the best in the world. People all over the world came. All over the world came back there before the white folks knew the devils knew there was well, was around. People all over the world was coming to Timbuktu get educated. They're the best in the world. Okay? And then you had people living out, what you might call suburbs, lived out, but they weren't savages. They was educated, right? We saw the movie Roots, the first one. They kind of gave some indication there, but they weren't wild, crazy people eating each other and everything else. That's what they tell you. We'll talk about that again. Maybe I get to that later, right? They tell you that. So you didn't do that. You didn't have that. You didn't have a government. You need a government because it was a body, right? When people got a certain age, they called the elders, and when they sit on the council, and all they do is once they understood what necessary to be done, they just make sure they organize it. They didn't tell you, right? And kings, if you had a king, they serve the same function. Administrator, not a dictator. Because they didn't have no army around them and no secret force. So if they were off page, people just get rid of them. They didn't have no secret service, all that kind of stuff. So how could they be a dictator and all that stuff they're saying, right? They had no guns or anything. So people just come in there. They live right with the people. They had no council and stuff. I mean, we're using the so-called tribes. So if they was all dictator, all that kind of, they try to make you say, people just get rid of them. What's going to stop them? So that movie Shaka Zulu, right? Anyway, that gave you a little hints there. So I'm saying, right, you didn't have that before you got here. Everybody work together. You need Social Security. You need all that garbage. Welfare, you need all that. Everybody work together. Because it was one body. The hand cells did this, the feet cells this, the brain cells. Everybody worked together. And you didn't spend 9 to 5. You was with your family all the time. Everybody was all together, waiting together. Just healthy, wasn't diseased. But now you come over here, oh, I got me a car now. Now I'm saying that car is what, to get back to the plantation. That's what they call it. They changed it, because they just like changed chitlins from chitlins to chitlins, because they figured you'd figure it out. I'm gonna move on, brothers and sisters. I just want you to know. So they got you thinking on this level, so you think it's accomplishment. It's no accomplishment. Let's move on. I want to get to the main stuff here. Okay, original nation here. Now I'm going to complete the picture, because I haven't completed the picture before. I talked about it a little bit here. Now, I guess it's a good time to complete the picture. Original nation, tribe of Shabazz. Now we adopted Esau, the Levites. We adopted them. They're the silver. We're the gold. Shabazz is gold. Son of man will be gold. And you come to the Levites. But the tribe of Shabazz didn't need them. They was the elect. They couldn't be deceived. So when the Levites, you get the wheat. Okay, I missed something here. Oh boy. Hold on, brothers and sisters, 1 second. One second here. I know why I did it that way, but when I'm talking about it, I think I should just go ahead and do this. Because otherwise it might be a little confusing. I wasn't going to do it, but now I'm talking about it, I think it's probably best to do it. Uh-oh. I don't want to do that. Okay, I'll do it. Okay, brothers and sisters. Okay, make this connection here. From Levites, we hear the chaff and the wheat. So somebody sowed the wheat amongst the chaff amongst the wheat. Right? That's why I debated whether I should do this like this or not. Right? Because this actually came from the devils. I'm gonna leave it at that for now, because I don't put the devils in the picture and it doesn't look like it's just out there by itself. Because it's not quite accurate, that's why I didn't do it, but when I'm talking about it, right? So in other words, but the reason why I'm doing it is because they're amongst the wheat. They're amongst the wheat, right? See? And the thing is, when you talk about wolves, chief clothing, that means they do have some Levite in them. So I'll leave it like that. Anyway, the wheat and the chaff could come out from the Levites. Because they all have Levite, right, on the outside. Okay, so this is, it'd be better if I showed the devils too, then, but anyway, I'm displaying it, so I hope you understand. Right, because they have, okay. So here, and so then the wheat, now from the chaff comes the demons. Okay? Because the chaff, right, they're the seed from the devils. That's why they're black on the outside and white on the inside. But Levites, they're silver. They're still silver, right? Right? And they're the wheat. So we got the Shabazz, right? And we got the wheat here, they came out of here. And we got a chaff, that comes out the demons. So we got the demons here, right? We got Shabazz here, and now this breaks into this. So eventually, what you got at the end you got Shabazz, right? And the end result of this is the traitors, the saints, and the demons. End result. Now I'm gonna explain some more detail in a minute. So from the wheat, so these almost identical. Come out of wheat. They're the wheat. They're the wheat. You got the demons who are really devils in black skin. So both of these are original. All three of these are original. But when you go into Daniel, you see these are taken out with the lamb. Before they're taken out, the demons are separated from this. First separation comes to this. They'll separate the chaff from the wheat. Right? That's what Sulmaster does. Once he does that, then he goes out, the elect goes out with him. Once he separates the chaff from the wheat. And the chaff that's the demons. Right? And then once he does that, now he's got to take and deal with this. He had to put the wheat through tribulation to make this separation. Because this separation is almost identical. All right, so I'm going to leave that there. We'll go on further, brothers, and then I'll explain it as we go. Okay, I'm going to get back. It's what I just said right there. It's in this, but we're going to get to it. I'm going to go just step by step like I did yesterday. Okay, now I talked about, remember I said at the beginning, it says the man must provide, and the woman, she takes care of the baby. That's not a downpour because she produced the baby. We can't. Right? That's her side. Her side is equal to our side. Right? We nourish it. And we give the stuff for the energy that she give it a quality energy. We give it a quality of energy because she gets energy like we do. But we got to give it a quality of energy she need to have to produce the baby. Again, the quality of energy again. Because she can't produce the baby just for keep breathing. She needs food. She needs shelter. So that's what the male has to provide, that quality. Okay? So here it is. Here's the male. He's got the food and stuff, right? And now remember, male and female, they're one body. I explained, I'm not going into detail here, but the Bible tells you that we're one body, male and female, we're two sides of the same body. At one time there was one body, but now we separate two parts, but we're two parts of the same body. So the body's together, right? So the food is there that the male provided. And she provides a child from the quality of energy that she got from the food. Because the quality of energy, the quality of that child is going to be determined by the food that she ate and the mental condition she was in, state she was in, all those type of things. Taking drugs, whatever, that's going to affect, because the quality of energy, if you give her drugs and stuff, then that's going to mess up the baby. So it's the quality you give her is going to determine, right? But it's her energy that does it, you just give it the quality. It's her energy that does it, right? But you gave her the quality that she needed to do this. It's her energy that does it. She's been 9 months and everything else. But you gave her the quality she needed to make it happen. Okay? So you're giving her particular, you're still part of, in here, still part of the same body, but I'm just showing you're giving her the balance. So she's producing the baby because you gave her this, you're getting this. Right? That's the balance. Everything balances. Case 2. Case 2, you ain't giving nothing. You're on welfare or Section 8 where you ain't get anything. Or then you're giving us your seed. Right? And so she's getting her nourishment from the devil. So here, over here, she was grateful to you, right? Because you giving her what she needed. You giving her what she needed. So she's saying, "Thank you, honey, because you gave her what you needed." Right? And she's got to show gratitude for what you gave, because that's the penalty for that, right? I mean, you give somebody something, right? You got to show appreciation. In this case, he ain't giving anything. He got on welfare or whatever. She gets it from the devils. So he give this quality, that's going to affect why that baby comes out again. What kind of quality eventually he give her, what quality of housing, whatever. Right? She in a cold apartment, right? And she's shriveling all the time. That's going to have effect on that baby. Right? So he's providing the quality because the male ain't. So now she's saying, thank you, Jesus. He can't say, why are you thanking him? Hell, you ain't doing anything. Then he want to knock upside the head because she's not respecting him. I got balls. Yeah, okay. This is mathematics. Man, if you think it's math, tell me wrong, brothers and sisters. It's mathematics of it. Right? This actually happened. So I'm doing these different cases. Okay? So in that case, what happens? To keep the balance, since the devil's giving you, got to give him something back. He give you something, you got to give him something back. That's the balance. So you're taking his food, taking the quality of stuff, right? Right? So you got to give him something back. Thank you, Master. So you're giving back your baby. How you getting back? There's all kinds of ways you do that. Mentally, telling me, have him in the church, right? Serving the devils in the army, adopted, all kinds of ways. Anyway, right? He's under the devil's control. He may be in your house, but he's in devil control, mentally or physically. To the extent that you took this, okay? Case 3. Now in this case right here, right? Now you're producing a baby, well, and the man's not producing anything again, and you're gonna get this from the devils. Produce this baby, it's kind of like out of sync because the baby shouldn't be here yet until, right? Because you ain't got the food yet, right? But you giving this, and so don't let my baby starve. So this her attitude. She got a different attitude, right? Her attitude is she ain't gonna give the devil nothing. She ain't gonna give the devil control of her baby, right? But she creating negative energy for herself, for that baby. Now it don't necessarily have to be the baby, but she creating negative energy. But I'm just showing in the most simplest way. But she's taking the food, taking this energy, getting it from the devil, but she got to give the devil something in return to keep the thing balanced. You see what I'm saying? So you're taking this, but I ain't giving the devil nothing, I'm taking this. Right? So you're keeping the baby, and you won't give the devil nothing. Right? Okay? We're going to talk about this a little more in detail in a minute. Case 4. This case here. I'll let my baby starve. So what's her attitude here? Okay. She's still keeping the baby, but she, giving the control of the man. He ain't producing nothing for it. He ain't getting nothing. Why he getting something? He getting something he don't belong to him. So the baby really belongs to the devil. But he got it. It really belongs to the devil because that's where she get all his nutrition, everything from. Right? So I'm gonna give him. I ain't give the devil nothing. I'm giving it to a man. Right? So you have to understand how to apply these things, brothers and sisters. Case 5. Look at this. I let my baby starve again. Her attitude is. Right? So what she does here. I'm just showing different scenarios that could happen. So she says, okay, I'm going to get the devil something. I'm going to give my hard labor. Keep my baby safe. I'm taking this food, right? So I'm going to give him work for it. Right? So now the baby's okay. But you just switch sides to do. Or do this and be prostitute or something. That's what I'm saying. I'm not blaming these sisters for that because the problem's over here, the male. If you're taking care of this, now this stuff had to happen. This happened because she's trying to figure out how to keep her baby safe. because you ain't doing your part. So she had to try to figure out, so you got to go to the devil, and so she trying to keep her baby safe. Because all you doing is just giving a seed. You ain't producing anything. And plus, you not only that, but you eating the food and stuff and shelter that the devil's providing, which makes it even worse. Case 6. Submission to master. Now here we are right here, eating shitlings. They mass feeding us shitlings. Because we told submit, right? And we live in a hole, because that's what they do. They used to lock you up in a room where they had a big hole they dug and they stuck you down a hole at night. So you went in a hotel, you went in no, well, even in a barn. You had no room, you had no fireplace. They lock you up to make sure you wouldn't escape. And right here you see the hole, they put everybody down there. There was no toilet, nothing in there. You did whatever you did on top of everybody else. No heat, no floor, anything. So here it is. So you submit. And so here you are right here. You're submitting, out in the fields, working, doing all that kind of stuff. And this way the devil's giving you shitlings, right? That's what you're getting. And so your baby is safe because you're giving the devil something back. And look what he's giving you. So actually, you're actually doing positive energy because he's giving you less than what he's actually taking from you. That's the affliction part. Right? So you keep your baby safe over here. Out of the devil's control, because he's under your control. Okay, what's case 7? Fuck submission to master. Okay, this case right here, right? You're saying, I ain't gonna, see, because you're here, and you say, well, I'm not gonna continue in this situation. See, some people says, man, they couldn't take it, right? Like Haitians, for instance. And so this was getting, he said, man, hell with that. So what they do? Rebellion. Broke the chains, rebellion. So what happens? You still got to pay the devil something. So your child grows up under a traitor. Why is a traitor? Because the energy that produced him belonged to the devil. And you haven't given the devil nothing back. So the energy that produced him is still a child. But remember, we're all energy. So the energy that you owe that devil that much energy. But since you ain't give it to him, you owe that much, so you produce that child with negative energy. Because you didn't get the devil. So you produce that child with energy that belongs to the devil. So a child belongs to the devil. You can't see it that way. What if it's just money? What if that's just money? Okay? The devil gave you $1,000 a day, and you don't give him anything back. Well, after 10 days, you owe him $10,000. So you got $10,000 with negative energy, because you got to give him $10,000 back. When you get him back, everything's cool. But as long as you hold it, then it belongs to the devil. That's energy. But you don't see it in the sense of a child. So that child, he has your nature, but he got a devil's spirit, because he's made from the devil's energy that belongs to the devil. So he's a traitor because he's gonna respond to the devils, because he got a devil's spirit. You know, he's original. He's original, but he got a devil's spirit. I don't know if you understand that or not. And they hard to put the screen out because they lack us in every way. They got our nature. They act like us. They more than demons do. But demons, they got to put on an act. But they still got the devil's nature. They can't dance and everything, right, or whatever. I can't dance either, so maybe I'm a devil. I can't dance a bit. I was in the army one time. When I was in the army, right? I was in Heidelberg, and these brothers talked me to go into some club somewhere. And they was up there dancing. They got, man, why don't you get up there, man? I got up there, man. I looked like a clown. I was, I was, ooh. I don't even want to talk about that one. I can't dance a bit. Right? I do that Michael Jackson stuff because he made it for white folks, right? And twist, but dancing, man, ooh. Not me. I ain't the one. I feel the music. I ain't like the devils. They don't feel it. When they dancing to what the music they hear. And they don't hear it all. Like a dog hear things that you don't hear. They don't hear it. You understand? The devils do not hear the same music we hear. They don't. They have a difference. Like dogs hear things we don't hear. They don't hear. But you don't know that. And so when they dancing to what they're hearing. So they in tune with what they're hearing. But we say, man, damn, that, because we saying we getting all the tones and everything. They ain't getting all that. That's another story. That's why I like Max and Jackson stuff, because he's a devil in himself. You know, that robot stuff. That's why I like Chubby Checker twist, man. Everybody can do a twist. That was easy. I don't think I can do a twist either. I can't dance. Anyway, I can understand that point, brothers and sisters. See, because he got the spirit of the devils. He got the nature, our nature, we got spirit of devils. So the devils own him. And so he'll work for the CIA. They'll tell him, yeah, come here, they'll do it, because he got the same spirit they got. So he's an enemy to us. He's like cancer cells. They got the same nature you got. A cancer cell has the same DNA you got. Only it's an enemy to you. When a cell turns cancerous, you got to get rid of it, because it got the same DNA you got, but it's just an enemy to the rest of them, and that's what they are, cancer. So well, maybe I jumped the gun here. Let me finish it first. Okay. So that explains Ishmael. He's a traitor. His mother may have been a traitor, because the problem with that is that if both parents are traitors, then the child will be a traitor, no doubt. But if one's a traitor and one's original, it's a kind of toss-up. It could be mother or father, it's a toss-up. Because now you got a nature, you got the natural nature struggling with that spirit nature, that spirit side, and whichever one overcomes. See? So you don't know. So he's a traitor, no doubt. See? That's why he's talking. See, we same thing, white and all that kind of stuff. He's a traitor. He's not a demon because he knows his father wasn't a demon. He's a traitor. He traded to what his father taught, everything. He loves devils. His mother-in-law is a devil, but he's not a demon. So now I'm giving a whole full picture. See? Because that explains some other things. See? And now, see, they don't say these things for nothing, brothers and sisters. I gave everybody a hint a while back. I told people that's the last thing I could tell you, but you ain't ready here yet, because I'm trying to talk. I want to talk about mathematics, talk about multiplication and calculus. You still held ABCs, because some people around know. I mentioned this a long time, a while back, maybe about a year or so ago. Levites, there's evil set. I didn't say the whole set. I just put a T. Well, anyway, evil Levite, evil set, because out of there, that's the ones that's got the devil spirit. Not the devil nature, devil spirit. Why you think I come out like that? It's like legion. They don't just throw those words in for nothing, for no reason. Because you got an evil set within the Levites. That's the ones that got the Levites, but they got the devil spirit. So how does that matter? Okay, well, yeah, I didn't put it here, so I forgot to put the quote in, but anyway, let me just go back. Okay, now, we see what we see. We see the elect, they go out, right? That's number one. Elect goes out. Well, let me back up here. I think if I show it graphically, better to explain it. Let me see. Gotta go back a ways. Probably could do it without the graphic, but I think probably, well, let me just do it this way. Well, I'm doing it on my Xbox keyboard. Take a minute to get there. Actually, oops. It doesn't look so. In a minute, processes. Okay. It talks about the elect. So they go out with the Lamb, right? But before they go out, the demons, remember the Levites and demons, the Levites had, they was infected with the demons, the chaff. There was two groups there, right? So these are separated out. Once you separate out, then you got the wheat left. So the Levites, the demons, they go on to make war in America. They try to take America. They separate out, right? Then you got Levites, they go to tribulation. Because the Shabbats, they went out. They left out with the Lamb. Then you go to tribulation. But during tribulation, right, it said there was two groups in Daniel. It says one everlasting shame and torment, and one everlasting life. So two groups come out of there. But both of them are Levites. Now, I've been talking about this in the past. I just never explained it clearly, in detail. So I'm bringing it all together now. So the group that comes out, they're all Levites. And the way I tried to explain it, I said, well, they couldn't get the angel, right? The discipline. Well, that's partially right? Well, partially, well, I ain't gonna say partially right, because it sounds like partially wrong, right? Well, that's part of the problem, right? But the whole problem is that group that goes through there, that's one of the reasons I had to go to tribulation, because it's hard to filter out those traitors, because they lack in every respect. They just got the spirit of the devils, not the nature, just the spirit. See, and so because they have the nature, they're spirit. That means it's going to be difficult, almost impossible for them to really master the angel. But they have enough discipline and everything else, right? So that's why they can make it through. They just can't, right? Get, how should I say it? Remember, they have to have this. They have to be able to get through it. They just can't get through it on a high enough level, right, to be considered the saints. Put it that way. Maybe I'll explain more in detail another time. But you understand what I'm saying? So they got to get through too. They got to survive too, but they did survive it. Some everlasting life, because everlasting apartment means they had to survive it. So because they're like the rest of them. Only thing is they got that devil spirit, and that be showing up. That'll show up when they come through. Because when they come through, how you going? Remember, both come through together. So how do you know which one is the everlasting life, everlasting apartment? There's ways to do that, right? But the thing is that then they're understanding. Because remember, they're going to apply the 5 pillars. They're going to apply to that because they can. But if they understand that angel is going to reveal who they are, they want to make it. I hope I made that clear, right? I bring the whole picture together because I've been talking about it, but I just never explained it to you. I didn't know if I could explain it to you because I said there's so much stuff, and I see most people understand. They say they do, but they don't understand much stuff I'm talking about. Many stuff I've been talking about already. So this is more complicated. That's why it's hard. That's why they got to go through the furnace to burn, to reveal who those are. They're traitors. Right? And they'll say and do things during tribulation that will expose them too. They might say, right? They may even do some betraying. Because remember, we still run during tribulation. Still, where tribulation take place, it don't take place. Takes place here. Why had it take place here? Because still have to be around the devils. That's a big hint right there. I'm gonna leave it there. They take place right here. Why they still amongst the devils, and they still got a devil spirit, but they got enough discipline to be with the original to get out of here. See? Well, I'm gonna give you a little more hint, right? You have to achieve Hajj. Well, I don't want to give it away. Okay, I'll go and tell you. You're not gonna be able to achieve Hajj. That spirit. Okay, I'll go and tell you. You're not gonna be able to achieve Hajj. That's how you know. They'll come through. They won't be able to achieve Hajj. They won't be in cooperation with everybody. There'll be some disagreements or whatever. They just can't achieve Hajj because that devil spirit. That's how you know. I might as well go ahead and tell you. Now maybe you understand what I've been trying to, things I'm trying to tell you. Maybe you don't understand anything. I tell you so much, brothers and sisters. And I'm probably wasting my time here because most of the stuff I've been telling you, you don't understand that. But I'm giving you the whole picture here. Because when you go, Levites are going to tribulation if they make it. Because right now, the way they might even get to tribulation, because that depends on me even. Talk to them when they come. I mean, they might not accept them. Men should be called, few should be accepted. You know, because it's my choice. I don't have to. And I make great sacrifice for the Levites, but at some point, but I'm still there. I haven't gave up yet. Boy, but woof. Yeah, I don't know. Let me move on, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand this. They cannot achieve Hajj with their saints. Because they have to be total in sync, part of the body. Remember? And they're cancer to the body. They're cancer. You got identical cells. That's why everlasting shame and atonement. They'll be there, but they have to exclude them from the body. They can't let them into the body. That's why they put that tattoo on them. Now all stuff making sense now? So they be tattooed. They be given to the what's his name? I can't remember. I forget what do you call it? I forget what Elijah Mama called him, right? Anyway, it's a person that he's going to be very hard, cold, and be given to them. I know it starts with T. I don't know why I can't say it. Anyway, it says they'll be marked, tattooed. And their seed and everything be tattooed too, forever. So we also already know, because it's hard to identify them. Once they're identified, right, in the Hajj, we got to always keep them separate. And we don't want them to come back in. That's why you're doing all that. Okay? Hope you understand, bro, since I put it all together for you, so I said I would do it, so hope you understand. Okay, let me see. And I think we'll do one more thing and close out, bro. This is the main thing I wanted to do. So to give you a full picture. You're on tribulation, so now you know why. Because these are the pieces they talk about. They talk about the demons, they talk about the saints, they talk about everlasting shame and atonement, everlasting life. So there's two groups that come out of there. But both of them get through the tribulation. So how do they get through the tribulation? Because they got the same characteristics you got, except they got the devil's spirit, which means they don't get through, but they ain't going to achieve Hajj. Can't achieve Hajj. Got a different spirit. So they have to be separated out. or the tyrant. That was not tyrant. I knew it started with a T. Right. That's one of my little things. If I can't remember something, just go to the alphabet. Once I get down, that usually did. Something I've been doing not since I've been 76 or 7. That's the memory thing I go through since I've been a child. I can't remember something, just go to the alphabet. Yeah. Sooner or later you find a letter that, oh yeah, that letter rings a bell. And then, so that's where my memory works. I don't know how yours work. I do start with a T, right? And so that's my, I guess everybody's different, I don't know. I can't speak for anybody else, but all I know is me. That's the only person I know is me, right? And most of us don't even know who me is. That's what you gotta do, get their knowledge of self. Okay, let me look at some other bosses and close out. Hope I understand, Bill. That's the full picture. I don't think I can say more. Okay, let's go here. Yes, go here. This gets back to another thing. I'm trying to show you got to understand, life is not where you want it to be. It's the way it is. And once you understand that, right, then you can start making your own paradise. Because you're going to make the paradise like you want it to be, but you have to, within limits of what energy you have and who you are. Right? But right now you have to deal with energy the way it is. You can't, when it's summertime, you can't deal with like it's winter. You got to deal with the way it is, how that season. So you may want it to be winter, but when to be winter, don't make it winter. So you got to act, you're in the spring, you got to act like you're in the spring and deal with what requires spring to be done in the spring. Until you make your spring paradise. The spring paradise will be different from your winter's paradise. So once you understand how life is and what season you're in, then you can make it. That's why Master Muhammad said he puts you in heaven overnight. Because once you understand the time you're in right now, then you make the paradise consistent with that. You make life how you want it to be based on the energy you have. And so right now, right, the thing is that, like I said, I don't want to do this. I can give somebody else, right? But the point is that my life is comfortable and everything because I'm dealing with life as it is. I ain't out here trying to get me a Lamborghini, all that kind of stuff, right? So in other words, I'm able to manage it. But yeah, but I do put most of it in this. That's a big sacrifice right there. But beyond that, right, I live with, that's why I said spin out what we have given you. So I said, this is where it is right now. What's the best I can get this job done? What's the best I can have my circumstances otherwise? So that's my particular paradise for now, right? So in other words, if you're a billionaire, you can buy a billionaire, your paradise you have, you can buy a billionaire castle, right? If you're a millionaire, buy a millionaire castle. Well, that's your paradise for when you're a millionaire. Millionaires, you understand what I'm saying? So that's what paradise is relative to. Right? It's relative to. Like I said before, I was doing this, I was living the paradise of American dream. Had a mini mansion, plenty of money. I was controlling my whole situation. I had my own business. See what I'm saying? I was doing like I wanted to do it. By sacrifice, I had to do this. Because if I didn't want to do this, I'd be back doing that. So I was making controlling my energy the way I wanted to have it be. So I was living my life that I wanted. Nobody was controlling me. I was controlling myself. You understand what I'm trying to say, brothers and sisters? My sacrifice to do this. So other people to be able to do it so they can learn to do it themselves. You understand? So they can learn to that's what I mean. I put you in heaven overnight. Right? He wasn't gonna put you on we think was see because your relative's heaven. That means he can make your life pleasant, peaceful for you right here overnight. The paradise of this season. because that's what I was living. After Elijah Muhammad departed, right? I was living the paradise of this life, in this season, right? I was doing it. I was doing it for self. Nobody was controlling me. Like I said, I had a mini mansion, 5 bathrooms, at least 5. Sauna, pool room, right? A whole bunch of bedrooms, right? Nice piece of land, right? All this. See, that's the paradise of this season. I gave it up to get this message across. Right? I'm not complaining, because I want other. Elijah Muhammad said, "Do the civilized, teach uncivilized." So the problem here is to teach you to do what I was doing, to create a paradise of this level. And then we move to the next level. We go home. Now we go to, when you get home, we get home, you call that paradise, right? Well, yeah, but it keeps getting better and better and better. So that level, 100,000 years from now, that level's going to be nothing. Like, man, it was like, you know what I'm saying? It gets better and better and better. So paradise is a relative thing. It's not like paradise just stays stable like that forever. It's better and better and better. Maybe I should speak on that, because again, that's another thing I took. I assumed that you understood, and when I think about it, probably don't. People think paradise is going to be, no, it's not a stable situation. It gets better and better and better. And the paradise of a million years from now be way better than anything you see when you get home. When you get home, you have homes that you have to build, like I said, and you have servants, right? And once you learn to command, then you be able to manage and control the energy that you have. So if you only got $1 million worth of energy, that's best you. That's what you're gonna be able to control. But when you get $1 billion worth of energy, you can be able to control you more. When you get $1 trillion, you understand what I'm saying? So I don't know what your idea of paradise was or is, right? But you can live in paradise. The paradise of this here is what they so-called calling you the American dream. I had that. That's what Elijah Muhammad was building. He's doing the paradise for here, preparing for the paradise for there. So understand, I keep telling you, things are relative. So he was creating a paradise here, because he did. When he was here, I was living in the paradise here. I was same, I wouldn't, no, right? I said I wouldn't work. I wouldn't work for the devils. I was forming Muhammad Speak newspaper. Night shift. Right? Big American, my car was financed with Nations Bank. You know what I'm saying? I lived in a nation complex. So that was a paradise of this life, this world. Prepare us for the next one. Best will come, it takes you to the next. When you get your home, that's the paradise of when you get home. Now you have your own land. You have your own nation together. Right? But still ain't out of energy deprivation yet. You're in paradise, but you're still not in the. I have to explain these things, bro. So I keep thinking, I'm talking, and I guess that, yeah, I can see it. I see why you didn't get it. Because I show you, intervention still will take place for the next 6,000 years. Only we're going to devil. So we got a derivative God that's going to rule for the next 6,000 years. So it means we're not going to be in paradise. Yeah. On that level. You won't be in disease, no hunger, no pain, right? And you have everything you need. But I said after that 6,000 years, then you move to the next level, which is even better than that. But you don't see, but at that paradise, you won't have control of the whole planet. And that's what Muhammad will. I don't know, maybe you get it, maybe you don't. Come on, brothers and sisters. Okay, I'm gonna do this and then we'll close, brothers and sisters. See here. Now see, without the mathematics, you wouldn't understand this stuff. You just let stuff pass. Why is happening? I'm giving you the math why things happen. Okay. And they're gonna pay a heavy price for how they run their mouth, not know what they're talking about. You shouldn't talk if you don't know. So here it is. Here's a China. See, I'm just giving you an example. Here's a Chinaman. He's got gold. Here's the devil. They got nothing. They got the flag. right? See, they got gold, right? So that's the balance. They got the flags, and he got gold, right? So they go in, they take his gold. Now, say that gold's worth $1 million. They take $1 million from him. So now he got $1 million worth of positive energy, and they got $1 million worth of negative energy because they got $1 million they don't belong to them. But that guy said he got $1 million worth of negative energy. They say, I don't care, I got $1 million. He got $1 million, but he don't have any money, but he's got $1 million worth of positive energy. So he's poor. Yeah, but he might have good relatives, maybe a foxy wife and all. It might come that way. It won't come in money, maybe, right? And he got to go. Yeah, but man, he got diabetes and maybe arthritis or something. Anyway, you understand. But he's got $1,000. He got $1 million worth of negative energy. Got that $1 million worth of positive energy. But they got the gold, right? So now, remember, when you produce a child from energy, from food and stuff you're taking in. And that's energy. That food is a form of energy that you consume, that you can use. And your child is made from that energy. So the energy is stored. So if you take steal $1 million for somebody and you build a house, well, you gave that house. The house is worth $1 million. You just change that money into that form. So money has that form now. You just change the form of the money. So it's not the form of the money now, it's the form of the house. But worth $1 million. But who the house belong to? Same person the money belonged to. The person that you stole the money from. So when you have a child, same thing. That child is the energy, is the form of energy that you gave that form to. Or the energy that you got. You took it in, that's the form you gave it. You gave it a sperm form and she gave it the body. So if all the energy you're getting is stolen energy, that child don't belong to you because it belongs to the person you stole the energy from. So in this case, they changed all that energy. So now it's in the form of a child, right? That's how much energy it took. So now that belongs to him. That's mathematics, brothers and sisters. I know you didn't see that. Nobody ever told you anything like that. Because they don't know anything. Like I said, they don't know shit. That's why this information, all this information, that you can say it's wrong. If you say it's wrong, show me it's wrong. That's the way it works. Because how you produce sperm, from the energy you take, the energy you get in, and you convert it to sperm. And how she brings the crucial baby, the energy gets in, that baby takes the energy from her body and forms itself. Okay? So that means that child belongs to him. And so, watch this now, see? It says, and when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Now right there, that's departure. But how can they don't speak to that? Who controls Jerusalem? False Israel. It said, when you see from an army, it says, its destruction is coming. That means false Israel is going to be destroyed. But they tell, oh, no, see? Right there, that's verse right there. Tells you they ain't see Abraham, right there. They're going to be destroyed. The Palestinians don't control Jerusalem, they do. It says that its destruction is about to happen. And that's happening right now. False Israel is about to be destroyed. Okay. Then let them that which in Judea flee to the mountains, let them move on. For these be days of vengeance. All things we may fulfill. Vengeance is something that you take somebody to something to you. Well, who has the right to vengeance? We do. Because all the shit been done to us. So it's our time of vengeance. We see this. That means that's right. To lift your head up, right? Because now it's your time. Right? Reward them for did you to take consequence. They take resources. They took $1 million from you, now it's time to get $1 million back. So you was poor because they took your $1 million, now it's time to be rich again because they're going to take your money back. That's why lift your head up. Because now it's your time. Okay, let's move on. See here? And so, look, they all in chains, right? Why? Because it said, but woe to them that are child and that are give suck, and therefore in these days for there to be great distress in the land and wrath upon this people, wrath upon them for what that's a consequence of what they did, right? I'm not going into detail about maybe. Okay. Okay, let me. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, shall be led away captive all nations. Now, why are these devils being led by a sword captive all the nations? Because they belong to all the nations. Because everything these devils have, they stole. They stole the land. They stole us. They stole all the nations. They robbed the nations. So all the energy they took to produce whatever they produce, it belonged to other people. That's why I say be captive all the nations, because they don't belong to themselves. And that's going to be one of the reasons why there's so confusion in America. Because I'm not talking about the spirit. Because they got, once that war breaks out, it says men's heart be filled with fear of those things coming. Because what's happening when men's heart be filled with fear of those things coming upon earth, was powers have been shaken. Part of the reason why their hearts are failing, because during that time, it's going to be total chaos in America. Now, I didn't explain the chaos totally, so I'm going to explain a little more today. Okay. See, I told you there's not going to be unity. Everybody's going to be doing their own thing. Why? Because everybody's got different spirits. There will be no unity in America. Why is unity going to fail? Because they stole everybody. So some people got China spirits, some people got South America spirits, some people got our spirits, some people got Africans, you see what I'm saying? Indian spirits. And they will respond to those spirits. And so they ain't going to be able to agree with each other. Because they're going to have all different spirits. That's why they're not going to be able to achieve Hajj. Because they don't have the spirit of the original people. They got the nature, they have the spirit. So everybody have all these different spirits. And that's why they ain't going to be able to agree. They ain't going to be able to work together. They're not going to be able to do that. And that's going to be part of the reason why America fall apart, because they can't work together. If they can unify, they won't be able to unify. Everybody's be against. That's why everybody be against themselves. That's why I'm talking about I'm bringing division. How you bring division? Because everybody got these different spirits. That's why division. So I'm bringing division because everybody got all these different spirits, and so they can't agree under pressure. So that means everybody doing their own thing, and so that's why it's easy to take America down. That's why demons will be more successful, right? Because demons, they're a whole different characteristic, right? They don't have a problem with the spirits. They all got the same spirit. Let me think about that one for a minute. Anyway, they all got the spirit, right? Okay? Or do they? Anyway, they're going to take America. Okay, I speak on that. Yeah. Okay, one more thing I'm going to close with is the money illusion. Now here, I see when they're getting money, okay, say for instance, this guy, he puts in maybe 1,000 units of energy, right? See? So, but why he's doing that? Because he needs food, he needs clothing, he needs a place to stay, right? Okay, so if he works all day, and the guy gave him that be a smooth transition. That's what he's working for. He said, "No, I'm gonna give you money." So now the guy actually, it's a couple of things wrong here. Okay, one thing is now he got to do more work because now he got to go out, take that money, and go get the food, and go get the clothes, and go get that. So he actually he's doing more work. Because if he just gave it to him, then because he already worked for it, but he's not giving the quality. He's got to work for the quality. He's giving the money. He's not giving the quality. So he said, "You work for me. I'm gonna give you this," but he's not giving the quality. He's just giving the amount. That's part of the problem of money. See, because that's how they control your quality. And then what happens? When he gets the money, he goes out and try to get the quality, but they control the quality. Well, you can only buy this, and this costs this much, and whatever. You see what I'm saying? And then if you don't got good credit, it might be some things like, remember at one time they wouldn't let you, couldn't buy in their store. You couldn't even buy certain things. You follow what I'm saying? That's the trick of money. We didn't have money before. That's the trick of it. So that's another way of controlling you, because you got paid, but now did you get paid? You didn't get paid. You didn't really get paid, because the quality is what matters here. It's the quality what matters. Because if you walk around $1 million, you have no food, you have no house, you have no right? Then what you gonna do with that $1 billion? Sleep on it? It's the quality you need. So they ain't paying you anything. These white folks, whoa, hoo, hoo, hoo. Okay. So, and then again, on top of that, they say, and then it's export that capitalism, right? You give him, he go out and earn $4,000. He earns $4,000 for you, right? And he only pay you $1,000, but you earn $4,000 for him. You guys like say, okay, you're a salesman. You go out there and you earn you generate $10,000 for him. He said, okay, I'm paying you $1,000 a day, but you earn $10,000 a day. Why? Well, that's exploitation. If you earn $10,000, shouldn't he give you $10,000? That's where it works. That's capitalism. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. See, so what happens is, right? See, and you get him that. So that's exploitation, because he's not giving you what you work, what you put the energy in. Plus, he's not giving you quality too. You're still a slave. You're being abused and tricked. And like I put in terms of goals, right? You create a goal for them. See, and the reason I'm saying that, because I'm going to explain this. When you're in the fields, they still do it now, but you understand it. Okay. What happened, and I should go to the other side, but I was talking about symbiotic relationship. But this is a symbiotic relationship here, but I'm going to go into more detail, but I'm not going to do it today, because I've done it in prep. Just go look at the last few weeks I talk about that in detail. But in the fields, right, and the simplest version is this. You was taken in the field, and you was producing, I'm going to exaggerate a little bit, right? You was producing cabbage, corn, vegetables, apples, and all that stuff for them, right? Right? You was producing it, right? They eat that, right? And what is it? They turns into shit. And the shit they gave you to eat. Literally. They came from the pig shit. But still, I get the idea. Symbiotic relationship. You see? Because that's what it was giving us. We was giving them cornbread, biscuits, wine, and they was giving us piss and shit to eat. You see what I'm saying? And that's capitalism, because if you go and check out capitalism, the name capitalism is just the name is the monetary side of slavery, because they didn't use the term capitalism, didn't come into existence until they enslaved us through the Holocaust, through that time. Because once they did that, then they say, okay, well, what's the monetary side of this? They had to come with the name capitalism. Go look at that. Look when capitalism started. It started at the same time as slave trade. And Wall Street was the main trade in New York, up north, was main trade. It's like the Financial Center now. There was a Financial Center then. And for us, Israel had a big part of that. There was a Financial Center then, and the commodity wasn't money, it wasn't gold, it was you. Go check it out. But see, you don't know these things. And see, this is our system. Our system, we didn't have money and stuff. Everybody got different cells. You got brain cells, you got foot cells, you got toe cells, you got some people as engineers by nature, some people farmers by nature, some people laborers by nature, some people architects by nature. That's what they love doing. You ain't got to go to school. You ain't got to sit around here and spend 20 years going to school and working at McDonald's and everything, getting up money to go to school. That's your nature growing up, and they discover your nature. They enhance it. I mean, not enhance it, but cultivate it. See? And so therefore, if you get hungry, you go, hey, bro, Abdul, I'll be over in a minute. Okay, go ahead, man. I got some cabbage out there. I got some corn. I got some carrots. Just go get whichever you need. You ain't got no money. Just go and get it. You ain't got to ask. Just tell them I'm on my way, man. Okay. I'll make sure everything is, is available. Right? But man, we can tune in at that time, so you ain't got to call them. You just tune, hey, man. Right? Oh, okay. You tune in, right? And then you say, okay. You see the demand becomes greater. Oh man, we're gonna need to produce more corn and more stuff, right? So we're gonna need a bigger plow. We're gonna need bits, whatever. And you tune in, so everybody knows that. So, but hey, man, brother Abdul, man, he needs to produce more food. He needs a bigger farm, and bigger farm, and a bigger barn, and everything else, right? And so the brother come, okay. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna do and lay his stuff out and find out exactly what he needs. These are. I'm gonna tell you, right? Then you can send the architect out, and architect he's gonna come out and he's gonna do the thing, right? Then the engineer and labor and the person that gets the materials and everything out there. It just happened like that. That's what everybody does, because we still are the same body and we're all connected. No money is involved. Everybody always gonna have what they need, because you want him to have. You want him to do well at the farm because you need food. You want the heart to do, if you're lung, you want the heart to work right, because you need a heart to give you blood. And the heart wants the lungs to work right? Because you want air, oxygen, right? But you got somebody on the sink, they don't care about themselves, man. And then they proud, hey, man, you think you're a brain cell, man, and you look down at me because I'm a butt cell, man. See, they ain't not satisfied being a butt cell, so therefore now the butt ain't working right and the whole body dies. We don't have that problem, because we love every cell. Just like your body right now, do you put down your butt cell? Do you put down your foot cell? You say, I'm not going to wash my butt? No, you take care of all of it. Because if one part hurt, all of it hurt. And you care about all of it just equally. You don't say, well, I care about my fingers and my toes. That same way, that same idea, mindset we have. They call it bartering. But the devils have this, because actually their system is the system that's required for energy separation. But now that time is over. The system they have, capitalism, all that stuff, that was the system that was required for Adam to rule for 500 years. That was the system that required. Because it was in a winter mode. But now that season's over. And so now spring's coming in and all that shit's melting. And they're trying to keep it melting. Here it is. So everybody's doing it. Everybody loves doing what they're doing. Got musicians, people like to sing. Right? Are we getting married? Oh, y'all getting married over there? They say, you got people over there. Right? Sisters, oh boy, ooh. So Whitney can sing, you with these sisters. Okay, this last thing here, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand what I just told you. One last thing here. I'm definitely going to stop after this. Where am I? Well, yeah, I am. See, this is the mind delusion. Again, you see right here? You got two things here. Now, we was home, before home, we had cities. And and some of us live in suburbs. You want to call it suburbs, jungle, some live in suburbs. But they weren't wild, eating each other and everything else. Right? See? But some of us live in the cities. Timbuktu, Carthage, Cairo, whatever. And this is the way we were. But they told us this is the way we were, which is a lie. We were savages running around, and we were so pathetic that they stick a naked white man running around in the jungle, Tarzan, the king of the jungle, our king. Yeah, I bought into that too when I was a kid. I ain't know any better. Tarzan had to rule all these niggas. But they told you this is where you were, and that's they taught it. And they taught me that too when I was a kid. That's why I went to army, all that kind of stuff, right? Right? I didn't know that this is what we really were. That's what they taught us. Right? Okay. So therefore what? If you believe this, then you'll accept this. Because this is a step up from this. So you say, yeah, thank you, white man, thank you, master, because you lifted out of the jungle, was starving, was eating each other, was naked, was ignorant, we didn't know anything, wasn't civilized. So you accept this. Now you're better off now. So you say, thank you, Master. You saved us from all that. Instead of eaten by lions and cow. And these folks believe this because I remember I told have my own business. I used to have to deal with white folks and stuff. And this stuff would come up. And I had white folks actually tell me, man. Actually tell me because they say something. They find where I'm coming from. Oh, man, why are you upset, brother? Call me brother. No, come here, brother. Oh, man, y'all, look how y'all, America saved you. Look how y'all, I mean, I had people say that to me. White folks say that to me. They believe that stuff. They've been taught that. They save you, man. You'd have been better off. Look, you're jungle and stuff. They say that. They say that, right? So you accept that because hey, they did good something for you. They lift you up. Now you got a car, right? You got an apartment. You ain't running around the jungle. Got food, got chitlins. You eat each other. So you, right? But if you found that you was like this, found you was like this here, you're gonna say, fuck this. You ain't gonna be satisfied with this. If you knew you was like this, because then you stepped down, they took from you. Because they took everything, they literally took everything from you. They took your mind from you. They literally robbed you blind. They took your name, your culture, your religion, your home, your country, your unity, your family, your children, your women. They took everything from us. Everything. Took the women from the man from the women. They took everything. Our parents took everything from us. And then they took our mind from us too. I mean, Rob is actually blind, so we didn't even know what we took. See? And once you see, oh, and that means you know somebody hates you. If they change you, if they love you, they wouldn't change you. You don't change something you love, you change something you hate. And the more you hate, the more you change it. That's exactly what they did. They changed us 100%. They hid us 100%. They told us a lie that we was this. So we yeah, thank you, Master. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, man. You know, because he lifted us up, man. He saved us from this. He saved us from this. But no, he took us down from this. And they don't want you to ever see this. Because if you start seeing this, you say, fuck this. And you say, fuck them. And their Jesus, and their country, and all this shit. That's why they will never let you see this. That's why false Israel is part of the reason right up there, right? So you won't realize that you have a vision. A vision unites people, gives you a common vision, a common goal, common destination. And so, what vision you have? You don't have a vision. American dream, that's not a vision. In fact, you ain't doing too well on that one. And with Farrakhan, tell me what vision is Farrakhan giving you? Right now, you're trying to just pray. 40 some years, he's the one gonna get you home, all this stuff, right? And now the time has hit the fan. He don't know what's going on. God told him to be quiet. When all this stuff, you paying this guy, you bought a flashlight, and then when the time the flashlight, then the flash don't work. What the hell I this flashlight for? Now it's time he's supposed to be talking. God's gonna be silent. Time press with trouble before we said people God see the great light. How you gonna see a great light if the light is on, off? People said dog see the great light, that's what they say. But he said, no, how you gonna see if the light's out? Because he's full of shit. Because you don't know. On top of that, what vision? Because you ain't going anywhere. That's what he said. So what vision does he give you? Scientology? L. Ron Hubbard? Or he give you the same vision the devils give you. We're gonna stay with the devils. We're gonna live with the devils, we're gonna have with the devils, we're gonna defend America. Elijah Muhammad said America will be destroyed. Fall of America. But he said, well, why you want to defend something that's gonna be burned and destroyed? And why you want to stay here when this place is gonna be turned and destroyed? But see, don't ask those questions. Why? Because some of them demons and some of them got the spirit of devils. Okay, I think I said brothers and sisters. I'm gonna leave it there. And maybe I'll get to the rest part tomorrow. So I got to those three I wanted to get through. So now you got a full picture of why they sell different things. Who elect is, why they go out, right? Why the demons had to be separated from the saints, chaff from the wheat. right? And then, why you gotta go tribulation, and Chief Hajj. Because those that don't Chief Hajj, they're going to make the tribulation because they got a devil spirit. You got your nature, but devil spirit. Hope you understand, brothers. And the reason why they got it, because they refuse to submit. Let me just look at that real quick one more time, brothers and sisters, then I'm going to close. I hope you understand that. Then I'm going to close. Make sure I explain that real well. Okay, K7 here. Now, they were in submission, and then they said, I had enough. That's the Haitians, that they did that, right? Okay. See how bad they doing over there, right? They said, help, man, I ain't gonna so. I'm not gonna submit. I ain't giving devils nothing. So they take it from the devils. I ain't shitting the stuff I'm taking. I'm fighting back, whatever. I ain't giving devils nothing. I'm not gonna submit to them, right? Well, you gotta get devils something because they take it from them. They ain't producing food themselves. So I'm showing it more modern terms, but the same thing. You had what was that guy that rebelled? In a movie about him, right? I forgot what his name was, right? But I'm saying, because those who fought back, they said no, submit. So what happens? Their children, right, are formed by energy that they took from NASA, right? So now that child has a devil spirit because he made from the energy that they took from the devils. They took his food and everything else. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. So, leave it there. Previous. I'm tall guy here showed it. Okay, let me show it again, bro. I just graphic that conforms to what I was talking about. It is. We're in submission, and someone says, "Man, I can't go any further, man." They fought back. I'm sure in more modern terms, but black folks rebelled. Some rebelled. I forgot the name of that one slave they made a movie about, right? Rebelled. So I ain't spent the devil no more. Because by our submission, we protect our child. Work for him, gave him energy. So we prevent our children from being futures under control of devils, right? Having that spirit. But a lot of other nations didn't do that. So you see a lot of that in Arabia, don't you? Right? They wouldn't submit. Oh, where they taking? They're almost all white over there now, right? They wouldn't submit to the devils. They taking energy from the devils, ain't they? Taking money and everything from them. Right? So a lot of them, the Arabs, they got the spirit of devils. Because they work for each other. They got gods, they will step up and help each other. There's no story together. I don't want to, right? But anyway, when we start thinking mathematically, all this stuff start coming into focus, brothers and sisters. So some of these may be demons, but we know this one's a traitor right here. A traitor, because we know his father's original. So these may be traitors, may be demons. Okay, close now, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.